Let's talk about understanding the IRS statute of limitations, what you need to know. Today, we're diving into an important aspect of dealing with the IRS, the statute of limitation. We'll explore how it works and its significance in managing your tax matters. First, let's clarify what the statute of limitation is. It is really a legal term that determines how long the IRS has to initiate certain actions related to your tax returns. Now, there are different statutes for different purposes. The IRS statute of limitations varies depending on the purpose. It can apply to assessment, collections, refunds, and more. In my opinion, the most important statute of limitation is the statute of limitation on collection. This gives the IRS generally 10 years to collect taxes once they have been assessed. The IRS generally has 10 years to collect taxes once assessed. So what does this mean? Basically, if your debt is 10 years plus 1 day, done. You no longer have to pay those taxes. Now let's talk about the statute of limitation on assessment. In most cases, the IRS has 3 years from the date you file your tax return to assess additional taxes. What this is saying is they have 3 years from the time you file your return to audit your return and assess additional taxes. Lastly, there's the statute of limitations on refunds. Now, on the flip side, if you're owed a refund, you have a limited time to claim that refund. You usually have 3 years from the return's due date to claim that refund. Before we continue, please subscribe, like, and share. Now, let's talk about extension and exceptions, also known as tolling events. Certain actions or circumstances can extend or suspend the statute of limitation. So why is the statute of limitation important? I've had cases where the best solution is to try and examine the statute of limitation and sometimes do nothing. I had a client who was so close to running the statute, and he was working with an attorney that offered him to do an offer in compromise. Well, what does an offer in compromise do? An offer in compromise stops the statute of limitation while your offer is being processed. So in this case, the attorney suggested, let's do an offer in compromise, which based on his financials would have been rejected, and he would have been in the same position that he was today, but in 2 years from now. So when we talked to him and we reviewed his statute of limitations, we realized that it was only a couple of months away. So an offer in compromise was definitely not the way to go. We came up with a strategy so that we can legally and ethically try to run the statute and wait the 2 months that he needed and have the debt disappear. So if you're in a situation where you don't know where you are with your statute of limitation, with your case, with your collection case, feel free to reach out to us at reliabletaxdefense.com and let's book a free consultation.